All right, man. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit
All
about
right, cool.
yourself.
All right, so my name's Tom Stanley. Most people, my real name's Thomas. I'm a first gen American, if you didn't know. I'm 19 years old. I was born in Florida as well. I was born in Pembroke Pines, Florida, which is like outside of Miami.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I moved around quite a bit. I was born in Florida, and I stayed there till I was like 5, and then I moved here to Tennessee when I was 5, and I hated it. Um, it was like a big cultural thing. Like
Mm.
I remember I came over here, everyone like looked different, everyone sounded different, everyone like kind of smelled different. But like at first, it was a lot for me to take in because at the time I never moved. Um, and so I stayed here till I was like 12, and then I moved again because my dad got his job. It was during a recession. He couldn't find a job here, so we had to move to south here, like 2 hours away in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I lived there till I was like 16, and then I was like crushed because I had to move back here,
Mm.
and I was used to Chattanooga and everything. And when I first moved to Chattanooga when I was 12, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I hated it again because like I got used to my friends here in Knoxville, and I was like crushed because I was an only child. I was a first gen American. I had my mom, my dad, all my grandparents were all in South Africa, Dubai, London, Canada, Italy. I have family all over the world, and like it was hard for me to go to school, like starting over again, and constantly moving was frustrating.
Right.
Have you moved before? If you
Yeah,
mind me
so I
asking.
haven't done anything drastic like that. I've pretty much stayed in Florida my whole life, but I did move from one part of Florida to a whole different part of Florida. So I know how hard it is to kind of get that, especially when you're younger. You know,
Yeah,
I know it's hard to start a whole new friend group and try to mesh with the culture of wherever you move. Because even moving from one city in the same state to another city in the same state, everything is completely different.
yeah, definitely. Especially like even if it's like 1 or 2 hours away. I mean, it's completely different people. Their perspectives are different, and yeah. But I would say moving. Like I hated it when I was growing up, but moving has shaped me into who I am.
Oh yeah.
It's made me a lot stronger. And like, most people today have like a fear of being alone. And because I was a first gen American, I didn't have brothers or sisters. I didn't really have family. I had my mom, my dad, and I'm grateful for that. It made me a lot stronger because every time I moved, I had just myself to rely on, and I had to like go and make new friends, and it made me so much stronger
Yeah,
as a
where
person.
where are your parents from?
They're both South African, born and raised.
Okay.
A lot of people are like, "Are you adopted?"
Right, yeah,
And I'm
cuz
like, "No." I'm like, "No, I'm not adopted." But yeah, it's always funny whenever they say that. It's a common thing.
Okay. And so what made them want to move to Florida, America?
So actually, when they first moved to America, they moved to San Francisco, and this was in '97. I was born in 2000, but they moved away from South Africa because South Africa was very it was like it was very political at the time that they left because there was this thing called apartheid,
Mm.
and it was very like apartheid was not right, but the direction that South Africa was headed in, and today it's now like a third world country. It used to be like a first world country. Now it's just it's horribly ran. It's just not a good place to live, and they saw that coming, and they said, okay, we got options. We can go to Australia, we can go to the UK, or we can go to the US. And so my dad went to college. My mom kind of just did her own thing. And my dad went to college and he applied for the lottery here in the US. And he got the lottery and he worked for Levi's in San Francisco. And they paid for everything to bring us out over there. And at the time I wasn't born. So it was just my mom, my dad, and two little bags and two little puppy schnauzers. And they
Wow.
moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
So
that's the
it was awesome.
classic story. That really that does explain a lot of who you are. You know, Gary Vee talks a lot about that, like being the son of immigrants and stuff like that. Like they
Yeah.
instill certain values that I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of American-born people just don't have.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be referencing Gary Vee a lot today,
Yeah.
as we both love him. But I definitely feel like I have that in common with Gary Vee. Like he was born in the Soviet Union. I was born here in the U.S., but I was still like a first gen American, kind of like he was. So I
Right.
feel I'm very similar there and have that, the immigrant mindset
Mhm.
that a lot of us have.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, so talk about what your niche is.
Oh, my niche is difficult. Like honestly, jumping a little bit ahead on TikTok, like I feel like I'm like an entrepreneurship slash travel
Mm-hmm.
like page. It's hard for me to describe like my niche because even like when I started my YouTube channel a couple months back, I started out as like a financial education page because I wanted to teach people what I knew about business and finance and things like that. And I noticed like I couldn't really incorporate any of my travel bits because I'm 19 years old. I've been to 8 different countries around the world. I've had family all over the world, which we talked a little bit about. And I wanted to add some more of that information into it because I felt like, I'm missing out on a lot of knowledge that I have that a lot of people can find out about.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I started like my my TikTok is because I wanted to incorporate a lot more travel into it. So I'm kind of like this travel slash entrepreneurship niche, but I'm still kind of figuring out my niche as I go along.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And so how did you even decide to do travel of all things? Like, I'm sure you have other interests outside of travel. I'm sure, like, I can see like a basketball little thing in the back. So obviously you like basketball and you like other stuff. So like, what made you want to get into travel instead of basketball or instead of anything else that you're interested in?
I think because I traveled a lot on my own. So I think when I was around 18 years old, I flew the world by myself. So when I was 18, we went to my grandpa's funeral in South Africa, and I have family in Cape Town, South Africa, and my grandpa's side was on the other side of South Africa in Durban. So I actually got to stay with my other side of the family for the first time for like 3 weeks in Cape Town, and my parents went back to the U.S., so I stayed with one side of my family in Cape Town, South Africa for a couple weeks. Then I met my aunt in Dubai, stayed there for a couple of days, and then flew back to Boston, and then Boston to Atlanta, and Atlanta to here to Knoxville. So like I wanted to kind of just describe like, traveling on your own. A lot of people have that fear. A lot of people feel like you can't travel the world for a good price, and you just have to find those deals that I think I can help a lot of people with. I know some of my friends will be like, hey, I want to go to New York or I want to go to London or something. And I would be like, hey, I can figure out your flights and everything. I can find you the best deals. Just tell me what you're looking for and I'll do it. So that's kind of where it came from.
And so how did you personally find out about all these deals?
My ultimate dream is to start my own airline, which sounds crazy.
There's nothing too crazy, man.
I know. I knew you'd say that. But like, it's like my 2 passions right now to me are like airplanes, aviation, and business.
Okay.
And the only thing that collides together with that is like making my own airline or making my own like airplane company or something like that. I'm still kind of like looking at the idea of those two, but it's just I've always had the passion for aviation. Like I have family who are in the industry. My aunt currently works for an airline called Fly Dubai. My mom used to work for United. My dad wanted to be a pilot. And my mom's other sister also lives in South Africa. She used to work for British Airways and Etihad Airways. So I have a lot of aviation background in there.
Okay. And so what are you doing? What steps are you kind of taking right now? I know, obviously, starting your own airline is very, very far down the road.
Yeah.
But, like, what are you doing right now in order to kind of set you up for that?
So right now I'm in college.
Okay.
But on top of being in college, I'm doing like my side hustles. So
of course,
my YouTube channel is part of my side hustle, and I've made about $250 to $300 from my YouTube channel within the first 9-10 months.
Wow!
I started in January, and most of the money's been from referrals. I've made my first brand deal with a company called Fit to Fly. Haven't really made any money off of that. My TikTok page I made some money on TikTok. But, I'm starting these like little side hustles. I know I've been doing a little bit of drop shipping.
Oh, there you go. I like the sound of that. That's right up my alley.
I did a little bit of drop shipping, yes. I did a little bit of drop shipping before I left for Dubai in the summer. And I was making like $100 or $200 off of just like, I wasn't really going full time and I was doing it on the side. But if I went full time on it, I feel like I can make a good solid $500 to $1,000 probably pretty easily.
Easy.
Yeah.
What were you drop shipping on? Were you doing Shopify?
Honestly, I was drop shipping stuff that like I don't even use anymore. I was just kind of selling it. There's a bunch of shoes, a bunch of Xbox games that I wasn't playing. So I just sold a bunch of that stuff.
Okay, there you go. So
but I want to get back into it.
You want to so you're more into like flipping then?
Yeah, like people say drop shipping. It's kind of like a vague category. It's like maybe it's my lack of knowledge of it, but like I'm probably more into the flipping life,
right?
More than like a Shopify store.
Yeah, because what drop shipping is like you never hold the inventory and you're selling other people's things. So that's what drop shipping is. So you're definitely more into like the flipping aspect of it. But you kind of started with your own stuff. You haven't gone at like thrift stores and stuff like that and garage selling it or anything like that.
Oh, I'm wanting to. I haven't done it yet. I have a couple friends that want to go, but I've just never. Not that I've done it 1 or 2 times, but I really want to go like every weekend. Go to like freaking Goodwill or garage sales and buy stuff and flip it. Like I think it's so much fun.
It is fun. It is fun. And something that I like is like there's always like the notion that you get like a high from shopping. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and so you get out of the way. You get the high of like shopping. And then you're making money out of it as well because the stuff that you're buying eventually is not gonna be yours. You're shipping it off to someone else for quadruple, 6 times whatever the money, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And I love that. I love that feeling. But like when I went to Dubai this past summer, because I worked for an airline for a little bit, I had to like drop everything on my eBay profile because if it sold while I wasn't here, I wasn't gonna be able to ship it out.
Right.
So that's why I never picked it back up.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that Dubai trip because you talk about it a lot, and that's not something a lot of kids our age definitely get the chance to do. So.
Yeah. So earlier I said that I have an aunt that works for FlyDubai, and it's an airline in Dubai. There's this famous airline called Emirates, and FlyDubai is like Emirates' dirty work airline. So FlyDubai is a lot smaller airplanes. They have like the Boeing 737s. They're just the smaller airplanes. Emirates has more of the fancy 777s, A380s, these big planes. And so what FlyDubai does is they go to these smaller airports like Kandahar and Kabul that are not like as desirable as, I'm trying to think of some good cities, but like, not these flashy cities in the Middle East.
Right.
These airports have like little cattle running across the runway.
I see.
It's kind of scary to be honest.
It's kind of like more like the stereotypical things you see in movie from the Middle East type of airports.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, like sketchy freaking airports that FlyDubai does the dirty work. And so I worked for that airline. I did marketing for them. I did we had Instagram. I did Instagram. We had LinkedIn, we had Facebook. I tried to get them to do Snapchat, didn't work out. Tried to get them to do Twitter, did not work out. But yeah, I started community management. I did creative. I worked on the Boeing 737 MAX content since FlyDubai has the MAX. And I kind of just did a lot of I did a little bit of everything, honestly. Like I worked with some pilots. I did some stuff with some executives. I'm trying to think of everything. I mean, I did so much. Like I have a little journal of like things that I did, but I basically just did like officially my title was like marketing and communications intern. But I did little bits of everything. I did some stuff in simulators. I got to go on by the airports and be airside at Dubai International Airport, which is insane.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it. It was so much fun.
How long were you there for?
I worked for technically 50 days. I was unpaid. I did free work for them because free work leads to paid work.
Of course.
And loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean I
worked like 9 hours a day.
A once in a lifetime opportunity.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it was really not that expensive because my aunt lives over there. And I just really had to pay for the airfare and food. That was really it. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. How did you, so you're going to school for marketing?
I'm actually going to school for business management.
Okay.
So like, the funny thing is my school is just starting an entrepreneurship program for this fall 2020. And yeah, I'm graduating May 2020, so it's literally too late. But they said the closest thing we have to like entrepreneurship is business management. So I said, okay, I'll do that. But I didn't really realize my love for marketing until maybe I would say the start of this year. Like when I started my YouTube channel in January, I really realized I like marketing. I like people's attention. And I find it very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm in the same position. That's kind of what I did with the whole drop shipping thing is I was focused on the actual drop shipping aspect of it, but in the entire course of it, I realized that I was more interested in the drawing people to my store more so than the actual drop shipping part of it. And so that's kind of where, I agree 100% on that.
Gary Vee also got me a little bit into marketing too.
Yeah, day trading attention. I love that phrase.
Yeah.
I love that phrase. So talk to me a little bit about your TikTok, because that's obviously that thing is like blowing up for you right now.
Well, you're blowing up faster than me right now, but I have to say, TikTok is so underrated and it's so underpriced. Like, Gary Vee was the one who got me on TikTok, and I remember, there was a couple of weeks where he just kept on jamming it down my throats. And so I started TikTok September 1st, and I said, all right, I have no idea what this platform is like. Mm-hmm. I've been on Instagram, I've been on Twitter. I was I believe I was one of the first people on. I mean, I wasn't one of the first people, but I was on Instagram since 2013. I've been on it for a while, and so when I was in middle school at the time, people would say I was Insta famous because I would be on there every day. I would post. I posted every day. I did some kind of I don't know, embarrassing, not bad things, but just embarrassing middle school stuff on Instagram, and everyone just joked and said I was Instagram famous because I had 1,500 followers, and in middle school that was clout.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So, but I never really got to a new platform and really went hard on it since Instagram. So TikTok, I was like, okay, Gary Vee says this platform's underpriced. I'm going to download the app and I'm going to consume content. And I'm just going to consume content for a while, learn this platform, and eventually I'm just going to post some content and see what happens. And so I posted my first piece of content, and I had 5 followers or something like that. There were just people that I knew on the platform that were some of my friends that beat me to it, because at the time I was like, oh, I'm so late to TikTok. But I did my first post. It was kind of cheesy, and I got 200 views with 5 followers. So I was like, hold on, there's something here. There is something. It might have been 150 or something, but I had 150 views with 5 followers. There's something here, and that's kind of what we call organic reach, where you don't have to pay for a lot of views or anything. It's just organic. It's natural. Happens naturally. And I got 20 times more views than my followers or something like that. I don't know the exact math, but yeah, it was just insane. And I was like, okay, let me keep posting every day, keep consuming content. I wasn't going to be too cheesy or whatever, but just do stuff that's got the trends, my perspectives on certain things. And I just kept on doing that every day.
Yeah. And then that's how you kind of fell into your niche, I feel like, because what was the first video of yours that went real big?
So I think it was this trend, it was kind of this trend of people, actually the first video I could really think that blew up was me saying why you shouldn't go to college.
Of course, yeah. But here you are going to college. What is that about?
But you see, I'm doing it this sounds terrible. I'm kind of doing it for my parents and because it's free for me. So Tennessee was one of the first states to do free college. So initially I wasn't going to go to college. And, this past summer I've had many arguments with my parents about me wanting to drop out because I felt college was not real life. And I still don't feel like it's real life. It's not. Everything they teach you in college is 10 or 20 years behind.
Very
college
systematic.
Is not it's a system. It's not real life. When I worked at Fly Dubai, I used nothing from college. It was real life, real stuff. And, college is this fake environment of you going to a place that you're surrounded by so many people that are usually your age, and you don't have to communicate with people. You kind of just do your own thing. And that's I felt like it's not realistic at all.
Right.
But I'm kind of going to college just to please them, to be honest, because I graduate here in May, and they say, get your college degree because it's free, and you can go do your own thing there. But I've had many arguments with them about me wanting to drop out. And I'm a Dean's List student. It's not like I was flunking or anything. I make A's and B's. And growing up in elementary school, I was a B and C student. And the weirdest thing ever is as I've gotten older, I've gotten smarter. So in high school, I made, mostly A's and B's, a few C's. But in college, it's been weird. I've been making A's and B's so easily. But I know it's because I love business, and business comes naturally to me, and it's easy for me. So, yeah.
So
that's kind of why I went to college.
Despite the fact that you're taking a business course, you don't think that there's anything that's real life in those courses?
There's a few things like right now I'm in accounting, and my dad's basically an accountant. He's an internal auditor, so he has to like audit accountants. But like I was naturally kind of gifted his accounting savviness or his accounting like skills for some reason. It's by genetics.
So you're good with numbers.
Yeah, I'm really good with numbers. I was always a math guy. I was not very good with English and grammar. I struggled with it.
100% in the same boat, man.
I'm happy to hear that. But like most people think I'm such a natural communicator, but I really struggle with grammar and English for some reason. Like I'm always been like a math, history, a couple sciences kind of guy. But yeah, I mean that. But I had my mom's like communication style of not really caring what other people think and being honest and open with people. So I kind of got the gift of genetics, just like what Gary Vee says. But yeah, my dad, I feel accounting is pretty practical for a business. Like I know you have QuickBooks and stuff, but we're doing it the old-fashioned way of like, I mean, we use a lot of like computer softwares and stuff like that, but QuickBooks can kind of really do it all for you. But you need to know like a few things in case QuickBooks messes up,
right? Or
the background of QuickBooks and things like that. So I think accounting is pretty important. I'm trying to think of any other classes. I mean, marketing was just stuff that like I knew. Like literally, I'm reading this book right now called Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vee. Honestly, all the marketing you need to know is in this book. I wish colleges would make you read that book because it's real marketing.
It's real life, yeah.
Yes, it's real life, and that's the thing about college that I keep on telling my parents is it's not real life. It's so obsolete. It's so outdated. It's just not practical.
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you on that. School is it's a very systematic thing. I don't know if you've ever seen the meme where it's like technology 50 years ago, and it has like, just like a really basic phone, and then 50 years later and we have the iPhone, and then it's like the school system 50 years ago, and it's a bunch of kids sitting in desks looking at a board, compared to school now, and it's a bunch of kids sitting at a desk staring at a board.
Yes.
And like nothing has changed.
The funny thing is college is like talking about like email marketing, and email marketing is not old.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing with school. Like it takes so long for the school system to catch up. Like it would be like if the school system were ever to start talking about TikTok, it would take it at least 10, 15 years for the school system to take TikTok serious. You know what I mean? And by that time, there's a whole other platform that's already even better than TikTok by that point.
Exactly, and then my professors still don't know what TikTok is right now.
Yeah, I think it's funny when you see professors and teachers on TikTok. I think it's smart. I think it's advantageous to whatever they're trying to do.
Oh yeah, I'm all for that. Like if they're on it right now, like I'm so happy that they're on it. But like most of them in my college have no idea what TikTok is.
Right. Yet. Yeah.
They will know. They will know maybe a couple years down the road.
Once it's too late,
TikTok is gonna dethrone Instagram.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm hoping so too, at least, because
it will.
I've
seen it already. Yeah.
I know. Instagram's organic reach is definitely on the downfall.
Yeah, Instagram is too competitive. Mm-hmm. It used to be like what TikTok is now. Like I saw both of the platforms, and I've been kind of big on both of them. But TikTok, I mean, has just been insanely organic. And like I've been on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn for me hasn't worked as well as TikTok has.
I have no success on LinkedIn
more organic
either.
Reach.
Yeah, no, I'm struggling to figure out LinkedIn.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
Well, LinkedIn's hard because you have to for me, you have to know your connections. So, like, all my connections on LinkedIn are all people from Fly-Dubai. So, a lot of times when I post about aviation, they do really well. But when I talk about business, it doesn't really do as well because when they reply to my aviation stuff, they all like it. And then once they like it, it's kind of like TikTok when people...
With the algorithm.
With the algorithm. Once people, start talking on it, they promote it more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm struggling with LinkedIn. I post just to post, but I feel like I'm talking to no one half the time.
Do you do written or do you do videos on there?
I do everything. So anything that I post on Instagram, anything that I'm really posting on TikTok. Like I don't post my direct TikToks on it, but I translate the content that I'm posting on my TikTok onto LinkedIn.
That's good. You know, I post on LinkedIn about 5 days a week. I do it like Monday through Friday, and I always do like all written stuff, like my thoughts and things like that. But I've been wanting to maybe look at LinkedIn video and start doing some pictures and stuff like that to see what all I can do. But I've had a couple that have done decently well.
Yeah.
But not many at all.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely not geared as well as it is with like TikTok, I feel like.
No, TikTok. Yeah, TikTok is obviously like, I mean, it's dominating. But I've realized I'm really good on video. I'm really good on video, and I struggle with written. And I think I'll be very good at podcasts when I get to that. But yeah, I think it just depends on your style.
Yeah, too. I'm definitely in the same position. I feel like we have a lot of similarities. There's a lot that you're saying that's kind of like striking me. Something that I want to talk about is like your Instagram when you were younger, like because I'm in a similar position where I blew up on Twitter actually. I had a sports page very early in high school, and it got up to like I believe it's 100. It was like at 170,000 followers at one point.
Okay, that's big boy league. There
you
go.
Yeah. And so I think it's funny that you talk about you being younger, like taking advantage of a social media platform, not really knowing, you know what I mean? Like without any sort of like intention or anything behind it. Like no one telling you to do it or anything like that. You just kind of did it just to do it, and you blew up. And now,
I had a lot of. Oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, and now you're sitting here, years later, on another platform, knowing what to do, knowing what the strategy behind it, and once again, you are succeeding on it, and even surpassing what you had done on Instagram.
I still don't think I have it figured out. Like on every platform, like with Instagram, I wasn't trying to blow up. Like I had people around me that had 20,000 followers, and I thought they were, super famous whenever I was 13 or 14 years old. They were known as the super famous, and I wasn't that big on Instagram. At the time, I thought 1,500 followers, 2,000 followers was the stuff. But the principles that I did on TikTok are kind of relatively the same.
Right. Yeah.
I'm still nowhere near your level on Twitter at 170,000 followers. That's huge. But I'm still learning every day of what posts do well and how to figure out the algorithms and things like that. It's always tricky. Like on YouTube, I don't think I've figured it out at all. I mean, YouTube's difficult as heck. I'm about to reach 100 subscribers on YouTube.
There you go. That's still a big deal, man. You should still take that as an accomplishment.
Yeah, I know. But I have this little journal that I keep right here, and my goal is 5,000 subs at the end of the year, which I'm not going to get that. But,
I think you should maybe aim for 110 by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's more like it. That's a lot more like it. But YouTube's not what it was. If I started it earlier, I always wanted to be a YouTuber. Maybe I would be bigger because YouTube today is so difficult to dominate on, Instagram.
It's very saturated.
You have to be best. Yeah, you have to be best at that point. And, I like doing the YouTube videos. It's so much fun, but it's not like TikTok where I'm getting, tons of organic reach.
Are you promoting your YouTubes on your TikTok?
A little bit. Here's the thing. I don't like to sell.
Okay.
I feel like, Gary Vee talks about being a seller and being a marketer. I feel like I'm a marketer, and I don't want to jam, my YouTube down the throats. But one of the best ways I made money off of YouTube is, I made a video talking about, the best, let me pull this out. My first credit card was my Discover Student It card, and that was my first video I made on YouTube. And there's this card right here. And I have a referral for it. So, if you sign up for it, you get $50, and I get $50. That's one of the best ways I made money off of YouTube is by referrals. But on TikTok, I made a video explaining why I felt it was the best starter card. And I kind of directed people towards my YouTube at the end, and a lot of people signed up with it. And I checked my Discover account, and I saw I had $200 of free money.
There you go. And that was just off of TikTok.
Yeah, but see, that's what I realized with TikTok is your audience translates. And you're going to realize that as you get bigger, because I checked one of your stories earlier, and you said you had a fan that DM'd you saying your content was great. Which
right. That was crazy to me.
Yeah, which as you get bigger, you're going to have more people that do that. Like, I had a lot. Like, there's this girl I'm talking to right now that she found my content from TikTok, and she actually lives over here in Knoxville, where I live, and she's like she saved so much money on flights and stuff, and I think we might meet up either today or possibly when she comes back here.
There you go.
Which is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
She just DM'd me on Instagram, and like that, it's just crazy how the audience translates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. I think it's interesting that you don't push, not necessarily push, but like not even advertise your YouTube on your TikTok.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting route. Do you post a lot on your YouTube? I actually subscribed to your YouTube not that long ago because I found it, but...
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just actually posted a YouTube video today.
Okay.
So I try and post, like, I say try. Like, I really do try to post once a week, and I have a lot of content stored up from my trips from Dubai because I did so much while I was there. So I just posted a video today. I haven't posted in 2 months. But, yeah, I try not to, like, I talk to people in my lives on TikTok and say, like, hey, you know, if you like my flight travel stuff, like I get a lot of people who love travel, a lot of people who love flying.
Mm-hmm.
I say, hey, if you want to know more, I mean, you can check out my YouTube. But I don't know, like, I just hate, in a way, like, I like business, but I don't like to sell to people. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I feel like it's just so, I don't know. It's just not my style. I can't really describe it.
No, yeah, respect, 100%. Like for me, anytime that I have like my podcast, and that's I think that's a little different just because I'm not going to be posting on my YouTube necessarily as much as like you are, because you like vlog and stuff like that as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to document.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, my YouTube is more just like my podcast kind of area. So for me, it's like I'll maybe post a video like once a week. You know what I mean? And so, but it's a podcast, so like there's a lot of like value in anything that we're gonna talk about. So I personally, like, when I'm done editing this, I will make like a little snippet of like key little talking points,
takeaways.
Something that'll fit on TikTok's platform, and then I'll post that on my TikTok and just be like, hey, check out my YouTube channel with Tom. Like, we talk about this, and this, you know, just stuff like that.
No, that's awesome. And see, that's exactly what Gary Vee talks about with the podcast. Is your podcast allows you to, you can film it, you can take the snippets and post it on like little micro pieces of content on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You can transcribe it on LinkedIn, and then people have, like, especially with podcasts, you know, you can put it on Spotify, you can put it on Apple Podcasts, and people can listen to it while they're running on the treadmill, while they're doing their laundry, while they're going on a walk. That's why I'm like trying to get into podcasts, and that's why I'm going to try and launch it at the end of this year or the beginning of this upcoming year, because I feel podcast is so underrated right now.
It is. It 100% is, especially if you know what platforms to choose. You know.
Yes. So like for my podcast, I'm doing Apple Pod and I'm doing Spotify, and then I'm gonna film it, but I'm gonna like record little bits and put it on like Instagram, you know, like kind of what you're doing is put those little snippets on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram,
right?
That I think are pretty good. Okay. So you and I are doing a very similar strategy. But I asked my audience on Instagram, because you can do polls now. I said, which platforms do you listen to podcasts on? And most of them said Apple Pod, and then a few of them said Spotify because they're Android users.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing about like the app. Obviously, the Apple Pod is that, you know, you restrict to only Apple users. But
yes,
yeah, that's very true. So let's talk about what made you blow up on TikTok. Give us a little bit of tips for traveling. What do you have to offer us?
So when I started blowing up on TikTok, there's this other girl, you follow her on TikTok, named Kimmy.
Yes.
I brought her onto TikTok.
Really?
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. I brought her onto TikTok.
Do you know her personally?
We haven't met, but we met a couple months ago because we played this game called Cash Flow.
Okay.
And we just talked, and she's awesome. And so we were talking, and I said, you know, look, you need to get on TikTok, because for what you're doing, for the audience that you like, that you're trying to get, you need to go on TikTok and produce content, because you will have success. You have what it takes. And she did it. I got her to come to TikTok, and she said she was just, you know, scrolling on TikTok and wasting time. I said, think of TikTok as like a business. think of it as a place where you can help tons of people. This is exactly what you're wanting to do, and this opportunity on TikTok, it's golden. And so she executed. She figured out what people wanted. She talked, and she honestly struggles with like talking on camera. She said she's just having problems with like dealing with it, and it's a hard thing to deal with. You know, that's why I say my YouTube really prepared me for TikTok.
Yeah.
But
is she struggling with like people's comments, or is she struggling with like what is it she's struggling with?
It's mixtures of things. Like, you know, when I look at her content, I don't see many bad comments. I think she feels pressured since she's exploded on TikTok.
Oh, I see.
She's exploded on TikTok, and she feels pressured that there's so many people watching her, and she has to do well every time. And I think that's getting to her. And I just told her, I said, look, you know, you had posts that blown up massive. I mean, like 400,000 views, 500,000 views with a profile that was like, you know, like very small at the time with like 3,000 followers or something like that. It's just insane. And, you know, I said, look, you're going to have that many eyeballs on you now, but don't be pressured to do something that you know will blow up. Right. I want you to stay true to yourself. I want you to keep being consistent and keep going. And, you know, I think she's struggling with that. And I gave her some advice, the best that I could do. And, you know, I think she's feeling better, but it's hard to deal with at times. You have to know how to handle it. She's never had to handle it until now. And she's super young. I mean, she's 3 years younger than me, but she's gonna figure it out. She's still beating me on followers too on TikTok, but
yeah, she's blown up.
The reason why I'm telling you about this is because she kind of got me into the travel hacks.
Okay.
So the best content that I have on TikTok by far is my travel hacks. So she did a school hacks, and at the time, like we kind of compete against each other in a friendly way. It's not like It's not like I'm better than you or whatever. We kind of just joke around. But so I was on TikTok before her, and she started this thing called School Hacks because she wanted to help people with school. And she did like little school things of how to remember like the I forgot like the little pie circle, the pie graph or whatever. I forgot what it was. But she figured out a way how to like memorize that, and she made like a school hack video. And it blew up. I mean, she didn't even have many followers at all. She had like 1,000 followers, maybe, I don't even think that, like 300 followers or something like that. Something so small. But it blew up like crazy. And then she did another video where like you could see like the answers online and stuff for like by the codes and things like that. Like it's super nerdy. And she found it on YouTube and just created a video. And that blew up. And I was like, okay, if she can do school hacks, what's something I know about that I can bring a lot of value to? And I was like, travel. So I started with the travel hacks, and I started talking about how to find the best prices for flights, how to use Google Flights to find the cheapest flights versus one-way versus return, certain days to fly on, you know, things like that. And I started getting videos blowing up. I remember the first one that blew up. The first video I did didn't really blow up. It did well, but it didn't really blow up. The second one that I did, that one blew up, but it wasn't immediate. It was like I did the video, I think, later at night, and I posted it later at that night. It wasn't doing too well. The next morning, I woke up. Something just woke me up. Like, I couldn't sleep. I checked my phone, and I'm at, like, 1,000 followers from 200 followers. I'm at 1,000 followers, and I had 50,000 views overnight.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
That was,
it's
like,
crazy.
That never happened to me. And, like, I was just like, wow. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I just kept on doubling down on that. Like, people are like, how do you make like 18 or 19 travel hacks now? I'm like, you know, there's so much to it that I can talk about. And that's the thing, when you create content and when you create content you love, it's so easy to create content about it because you can focus on one little tiny aspect of it, and you can just keep posting it and drilling it down your viewers and followers' throats in a way, but you know that they're interested in it.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would get these, like, little comments about, like, travel and flying, and it's because I'm super passionate about it. I could answer those comments, engage with people, and know what I'm talking about versus some people that just post random stuff. And in the comments, they're, like, you know, saying something, and then they don't really know what they're talking about because they're just doing it for the clout. And, yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's one of the best ways to grow on TikTok is to create content that you're super passionate about, something that you know about. And everyone knows about something. Like, they have their passions, just like you have drop shipping. For me, it's travel. I mean, everyone has their own thing that they can sit there and talk about. It can be something about peanut butter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there could be a podcast about peanut butter, and I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people that would be interested in watching something like that.
Exactly. But that comes with not caring about what other people think. And that's why I'm dominating on TikTok. Overall, I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's literally just something that I struggle with, and I kind of relate with Kim a little bit, is like the pressure of having to produce content that you feel like is going to blow up. Because for me recently, I had a nice little stretch where like I had 6 posts, and out of those 6 posts, 3 of them had over 250,000 views minimum. One was at like 250, one was at like 370, and one was at like 450,000 views. And I just sat there staring at my phone, and I'm like, what the heck am I going to talk about next? Like, how can I possibly keep this going? But like, eventually it's just like, well, screw it. Like, who cares? Like, it's my account. If they don't want to listen to what I have to say, so be it. If they want to listen to it, then it'll blow up and it'll do what it's got to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that pressure you're talking about, because you want the next post to beat the next one. You want, say you get a post that has 200,000, you want the next one to be 300,000. But it's like, then you realize you're getting caught up into the numbers. And that's the thing that I told Kimmy, is you can't get caught up into the numbers. When you love something and when you're passionate about it and you truly want to give to other people, you don't even care about the numbers.
Right.
You don't care how well it does, because you just know it's helping other people out. Like, I get boosted when people tell me I helped them save $50 on their flights. This one lady said I helped her save $200, and I was so pumped. I was so boosted from that. Yeah. Like, it's the best feeling ever. It
is. That's happened to me a couple of times where people have told me that they have started their own drop shipping journey. Yeah. And they accredit it to watching my videos or whatever, or that they're all of a sudden interested in entrepreneurship as a whole, which for me, like, drop shipping in and of itself isn't my passion. I talk about it simply because it has to do with entrepreneurship, but like drop shipping as an entity isn't my passion. My passion is just like literally entrepreneurship and success. That is what I am obsessed with. That is why I am interviewing you. Like, you have nothing to do with drop shipping. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, you've used a platform to grow up. I consider that success. Therefore, I want to know you. I want to know more about you and stuff like that.
So, like, something I've been thinking about, I actually just recently joined the society at my school, and I just finished all the trainings and got this little plaque. It's called the National Society of Leadership and Success. And something I've been thinking about is, what does success mean? Like, everyone views success as money, and it's just something that I've been thinking about. And it's like, success doesn't mean money. Success to me means you're doing something you love every day. If you're going to wake up at 4 a.m. to go do it, I think you're successful. If you're happy with what you're doing now, you are successful. You won. It's not, hey, I made $500,000 in 1 year, I'm successful. That doesn't mean that. That drives me nuts when people say that.
There's a lot of millionaires and billionaires that are not happy with their lives whatsoever. And Gary Vee talks about that a lot. Tony Robbins talks all about a lot about that too, because he personally knows these people, and he knows for a fact. Like, he talks to these people on a daily basis, and he knows multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire people that just aren't happy. And if you're not happy, then are you really successful? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That happy is the end game, and that's why I was asking you, like, what do you view success as? Because I feel like today it's so messed up.
Everything is very like surface level, very there's no like deep thought to a lot of stuff anymore. Everything is just kind of like
100%.
faking it. You know what I mean? And Gary Vee talks about that a lot, like literally showing off the cars and showing off the watches and the belts and the this and the that, trying to portray yourself as something that you're not, and deep inside you're struggling, or you're spending all your money on certain things to show off, and then you're struggling to pay rent or whatever the case may be.
And you're doing it to please the people that you hate.
Exactly.
That's my favorite part.
People that you will never meet in your life, that have no significance whatsoever.
That's my favorite part of it, is you're doing all of that to go buy some fresh off-whites, a jacket that you don't even need, just to please people that you freaking hate. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, and I mean, people like us, it's our duty to take advantage of people like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll buy the Supreme whatever, but I'm not gonna buy it to wear it. I'll buy it to sell it to the next guy for double the price.
See, that's a true entrepreneur right there.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if you
That's
saw
the best.
that Gary Vee's coming out with his 5th shoe.
Yeah, the 005s.
Yeah, did you see that? I was like my very first thought when he announced those was I'm gonna buy one just so I can flip it on eBay. That was literally my very first thought.
Did you get you're talking about those pink ones that he had, the limited editions?
No, he's coming out with a blue sneaker.
Yeah, the blue 005s, but there was a limited batch that were like pink, and they people were flipping them on StockX.
Oh, really? No, I didn't see those, but
Yeah.
I know that the blue ones are coming out sometime this week or very early next week.
I think it comes out on the 25th. I think it comes out today.
Something like that. Yeah, it comes out maybe later. I don't know. I have to check. But yeah, literally as soon as I saw that, as soon as I saw him promoting that, I was like, this is gonna be easy money to be made here.
Yes, exactly. You know, I was actually looking to buy one of his Topps cards.
Yeah.
That he has autographs. I was thinking about flipping it, but I just didn't pull the trigger. I probably should have.
It's hard. There's a lot of people that have the same mentality. There's a lot of people that either want it just to have it or want it to flip it. Because I know what you're talking about with the Topps card, and I remember he was promoting it on his website, and when I went to go check it out, it said sold out within 20 minutes of them being released. And then I went on eBay, and there was already so many listings like of people trying to sell them, and there was already people that were like sold them for $200, $300, $400 more than they had bought it for. Literally the same day, within the first 20 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's easy, and he's kind of got me into cards a little bit too.
Yeah.
Sports cards, because I love sports as well. Like it's fitness and sports is an avenue I have not even talked anything about on any of my content.
Yeah. Is that something that you're thinking about getting into a little bit?
Oh, easily, yeah. Like in my vlogs, I talk a little bit about it on YouTube, but it's something that I definitely want to start talking a lot more about because I love going to the gym. Like I go to the gym 4 days a week, but you know, and also like I love and the sports card stuff I thought was interesting too.
Yeah, you're not afraid of like leaving what made you famous or what made you blow up?
No, I mean like. I view myself like I'm not afraid to try new things because I think I can bring in more people. Mm-hmm. Like I'm still going to talk about travel and I'm still going to talk about business, but I'm not afraid to try different things because my audience on TikTok is super diverse.
This is
like
true.
The funniest thing ever is I would say over half of my audience on TikTok is all adults.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's
same.
Are you getting that as well?
Yes, like the stereotype is that TikTok is for 13-year-olds, right? Like that's what everyone thinks. Yet I have almost 7,000 followers, and at least 4,000 of them are older than I am.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me, and I was wanting to ask you that if you had that same, but over half of them are all adults. I mean, most of the content I'm making is meant for kids, like kids that are my age or younger, but. You know, like I'm not afraid to try different things. Like I talk about business, and I know my business content doesn't do as well as my travel, but I want to talk about stuff that I feel I can provide value in, stuff that I know. Like a lot of people are like, "Why don't you talk about hotels?" I'm like, I don't know about hotels.
Right.
You know, I like hotels, but I'm not like interested in them, and I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, something that you're not even interested in. Because I mean, the knowing part, whatever, you have Google, but like you're not interested in hotels, so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
You got any quick travel hacks that you can spit out real quick?
Use flexible dates.
Okay.
So if you're like flexible dates is hard because it's like if it's not specific, but what it does with flexible dates is it kind of gives you like the best prices within a certain time frame. So like if you want to go. Let's just say you want to go to New York City in February. I don't know why you'd want to go there in February. You'd freeze your butt off. Let's just say you want to go there in February, but you don't know a certain time you want to go. Use flexible dates, and it should give you like I know Google Flights does this with flexible dates, but you can also go to like Delta's website, and you can use flexible dates there as well. And look around those times in February. Then find a time frame that you want to go, and then if you work a job, then just try and get that time frame off, and that's probably one of the best ways to save money. Another way is to use a VPN.
Mm. So what is a
So if you're
VPN
like,
for those that may not know?
a VPN is kind of like, it kind of like tricks your internet into like saying that you're in another location. So with travel, and I didn't really realize this until my commenters and I watched a couple YouTube videos about it. Wherever you are, if you're here in the U.S. And you're wanting to fly to, this is typically for international. If you want to fly international and you're here in the U.S., let's just say you want to fly to, let's say you want to fly to Germany. If you use a VPN and say that you use the VPN and you're like in the UK, you can get targeted for better deals versus you here in the US. Okay. The travel prices are location based, is what I didn't realize until I started doing some research on it. But a VPN kind of just tricks your internet location into like saying you're really in the UK versus when you're actually in the US. It's kind of tricky to describe. It's one of those real techie things, but yeah, VPNs like NordVPNs and Dashlane are probably worth it because they give you more localized deals that will save you a lot of money.
Yeah, so what's the specific advantage to tricking the system into saying that I'm in the UK as opposed to here?
I don't know how the airlines do it exactly, but like they will bring you like more expensive prices if you're flying directly, like from US to Germany. And if you're like in a neutral area, like in somewhere in Europe, you can still get targeted to those low cost deals.
But how does that work? Like what is the specific? So all right, so say I want to fly to Germany, right?
Okay.
What is the difference between saying that I live in America, because I do, and then I'm telling the website that I live in the UK? Like how does that benefit me?
Well, it's hard to describe. Like your location will give you like better deals because you're still in Europe, and you can still kind of get those European fares. Like they don't show you every fare, even though you're in the U.S.
I see.
They kind of hide stuff from you. It's hard to describe it. Like it's tricky. So and it's kind of like weird that they hide these deals from you.
I see. So it's not like I'm saying in Britain or saying that I live in Britain and it's only going to show me flights that are flying from Britain to Germany. Like I can be in Florida, say that I live in Britain and still find a flight from Florida to Germany.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, because you're closer to that area. Okay. And you're going to be targeted to those deals.
Ah.
It's a weird system because like I feel like it's kind of illegal in a way, but
that does sound real sketchy. That the fact that based on the fact that you live further away, I'm going to give you a more expensive ticket.
Yeah, they hide little options for you. So VPNs will help you out.
I see.
And like kind of like VPNs will allow you the ability to look at the fares in your location and look at the fares outside of your location. That's what some of these travel hackers do in the aviation community.
Do you have any travel? I mean, do these travel hacks apply for like the fancy airlines too?
I mean, yeah. Like with Emirates and Qatar, they're Google Flights only works with a few airlines, and I think Google Flights works with Emirates. They don't work with Qatar, which makes it harder because I personally love Google Flights, but then you can use like sites like Kayak, you can use sites like Priceline, Kiwi's another good one from what I heard. You can use those websites and they will show up like Qatar Airways and things like that. But those ones, those more like fancy airlines are harder to get deals for.
Right, just because they're already,
Yeah, a lot of people end up using miles or like the credit cards. The points that you get with credit cards, that a lot of people use those redemptions to fly business class for free.
Yeah. Okay. Any other
which are really good deals.
Any other hacks that you have? I know on TikTok you have like 18, 19 parts at this point.
Like 18, 19 of them. I'm trying to remember all of them. Definitely like don't fly at the end of the week. I would say the end and beginning of the weeks are tough because most people are flying. If you can find the middle of the weeks, those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday windows, it's a lot cheaper. Those are good.
Is it true that also like early flights are cheaper than like midday flights?
Yes. So usually the earliest flights available will be cheaper because most people don't want to wake up that early. But the good thing about those flights is they're least likely to be delayed. Okay. So when you're flying earlier in the day, you're least likely to get delayed compared to the end of the day, because these planes will have these tighter windows. Typically, a plane will start early in the morning in one area and end the night at some other place. Okay. But you're more likely to get delayed later on in your day. But also the last flight of the day will be cheaper as well.
Interesting. All right. So like late night flights then.
Yeah, like the last flight of the day will be cheaper. The earliest flights will be cheaper, and those middle flights will be more expensive. That's typically how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other quick hacks that you have?
Let's see. What's else? Definitely fly in the off-season times, like the summer. The summer windows are hard. So, like in South Africa, it's summer down there. So, if you're flying to the southern hemisphere right now, it's super expensive because it's summer down there.
Yeah.
But if you're going to fly right now to the northern hemisphere, it's a good deal because no one wants to go there.
Right.
But if you're really wanting to see those locations, yeah, exactly. You don't want to freeze. But if you really want to see those locations, right now is a great time to go see Europe and get really good deals. But typically, if you're flying to the northern hemisphere in like the summertime from like June through August, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
May is a pretty good time to fly.
May?
Yeah.
Interesting.
May's a great time to fly.
Okay. That's actually my birthday month, so that's good to know.
Same. Are you Gemini?
Taurus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Gemini. I'm also May too.
So you're like late May then?
I'm May 26th.
Yeah, I'm May 4th. Star Wars Day.
So we're not that far off. Mm-mm. Oh, Star Wars Day. Yeah, I love Star Wars.
Yeah, May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, that's right. New Star Wars movie's coming out soon too.
I know.
And
I saw that.
The Disney Plus. I just haven't had time to sit there and watch it yet.
I've heard a lot about The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
I've seen the memes all over social media about Baby Yoda.
yes, I've seen Baby Yoda. I just gotta laugh because I haven't watched it yet. I just haven't had time to because recently I started a job with Starbucks.
Okay.
And that's paying for like my personal expenses.
Right.
It's kind of a bullcrap job because on top of that, I've been wanting to make a piece of content talking about diversity. They're diversifying my income sources. Mm-hmm. So like I make money from YouTube. I've made like not much money from TikTok, but then on top of that, I have my Starbucks money. So it's like it's paying my Starbucks money will pay for my personal expenses like food, car, things like that, and my businesses will my passive
side
income,
hustles,
my side hustles, things like that.
Eventually, the goal is to get the side hustles to.
Oh, yeah.
Be equal and then greater to the job,
Yeah. I mean, and the job at Starbucks has been kicking me in the butt. It's been hard as heck, but yeah, that's definitely what I'm trying to do, and it's kind of motivated me to get more into the side hustle so I can leave the job.
You can leave it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that you found a hard job though, because like you said, it kind of forces you to realize that that's kind of the real world, and you just don't want to be a part of it.
Well, you see, I've had 3 jobs now. I worked at Target, and I did e-commerce for Target, so that's kind of where I got into drop shipping, because I did e-commerce for Target, and then I worked for FlyDubai, and didn't get paid anything. But Target was my first job, and I started out getting paid $12 an hour, which is first job. That's pretty good.
That is actually pretty decent, yeah.
And then they laid me off because I was seasonal. They laid me off. And then I worked for FlyDubai this summer, and I wasn't getting paid anything there. And then now, this job, I said, I'm going to get perspective from this job. I'm getting paid a lot less. I'm getting paid $9 an hour, but I'm doing a lot more work. Mm-hmm. And it's gave me perspective on a lot of things. And I'm not happy doing this job, but I'm learning what it's like not to be happy doing a job.
Right, yeah. How old are you?
I'm 19.
You're 19. Yeah, see, it's good that you're starting as young as you are.
But you see, I started working too late because I played sports. Like I played soccer, I played football, I played basketball. And I started only working when I was 18. Which kind of backfired in a way.
Right.
But
I started working when I was 15. So I'm like the complete opposite early on that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've always, not even knowing it, because, like, entrepreneurship, when you're 15, like, it might go in one year and just right out the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, Thinking about it, like I used to sell Jolly Ranchers in the 3rd grade. Like that was my thing. Like I sold Jolly Ranchers and stuff like that. So like I knew, thinking back on it, like this has just been a part of who I've always been.
You had the early signs of an entrepreneur.
Uh-huh.
For me, I don't think I had those early signs that most people did.
You never hustled when you were little? Lemonade stands or anything like that?
I didn't really do that, is the thing. Like, I would say, like, my only, like, start of, like, entrepreneurship was me flipping stuff when I was, like, 18.
Yeah. That's still young, though. I mean...
Yeah, like, I mean, most people had selling, like, Jolly Ranchers and sold candy at school and did lemonade stands. And I had a friend who sold candy at school, and I was like, that's a great idea. But I just never executed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. That's what Gary Vee talks about. And as long as the idea is stuck in here and it's not executing, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I never had that, like, you know, most people have that early entrepreneurship stories of selling lemonade and things like that. But I just never really was that.
But here you are now, taking massive action.
I mean, I feel like I'm not, like, all the way an entrepreneur, though, in certain aspects. Like, I love business. I love... Maybe it's because I'm maybe not an entrepreneur because I don't want to jam things. Like, I don't like to sell to people because I feel like it's, I don't know. There's something weird there for some reason that makes me feel like I'm not an entrepreneur.
You don't like salesmen then?
I don't like. I mean, selling is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's an important skill, but I don't like to force people to do something.
Interesting. Okay.
It's weird. Like I like to make profit off of things, but I don't like to like jam it down. I don't know. It's weird. I think it's marketing versus sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
It's weird.
Definitely.
But,
I mean, they can go hand in hand though. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean Gary Vee doesn't really like sell like that. That's probably why I like Gary Vee so much. He's not like that typical seller like those freaking guys like I'm trying to think of some of those famous YouTubers or Instagram profiles that just jam things down your throat and buy my free course and crap like that.
Yeah, but Gary Vee did have a time in his life where he was a salesman working with his dad at the wine shop. He had to push those wine sales down people's throats.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a point there, but I think he's learned from that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's shaped into who he is now because people feel guilty to buy his empathy wines and his shoes because he provides so much value and doesn't force people to buy those things.
I think a lot of that has to do with his brand as a whole. You know how he talks about like if Apple were to make shoes, they would be game changing.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally took that concept and was like, "Well, I'm just gonna make shoes and see what happens."
Yeah, you see, like I want to make a product line too, but I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, you have to buy this."
Right.
I really want it to be like his style. Say like if you're in the market and you want to buy shoes, here you go. Like that's how I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how I treat my YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's my personal next step is I wanna build like entrepreneur starter kits where I have like entrepreneur books that I've read and I would recommend to someone, and so someone would buy like the entrepreneur starter kit would have like 2 basic essential books. It would have like a really nice notepad, like a really nice pen, just something to get you started because I feel like with entrepreneurship it's overwhelming. Like you want to get started on something, but there's just so much information coming at you from so many different angles, and finding your business is probably one of the hardest parts. Like even knowing what you want to do, and I feel like a lot of people overthink that way too much, and they kind of dwell on, well, I don't have my multi-million-dollar idea yet, so I'm not gonna do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's also why I try so many different things on my content. With if it's travel, business, fitness. Mm-hmm. That's why I try so much to see like what does well, what do I like doing, and things like that.
Yeah, well, for me, like I try to talk about a lot of things. Like I used to post my workouts, but none of them really did well. But when I talk about specific fitness topics, they seem to do a lot better than me just posting a workout. So, like you said, it's all about like trial and error, just putting out content, seeing what works, what doesn't, and kind of just morphing into what it is that you got to become, and whatever it is that you like to do.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want that what if, like, what if I did this?
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
setting in.
Yeah. 100% true. Let's see. How long have we been on here? Okay, we've been on here for a while. So, I'm going to call it here, Tom. That was a really, we've been on here for almost an hour. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking
Hey, no
time
problem.
out of your day to do this with me. I appreciate it a lot. I'm going to edit it and do everything that I got to do. And I will let you know when it's ready to go and when it's
No
posted.
problem. Take your time on it, and I'd love to have you on my podcast.
Yeah, you let me know. You said 2020, right?
Yes.
All
I
right.
want you to hold me to that.
I was gonna say I'm gonna definitely hold you to that.
Yeah.
I was gonna
accountability is
say when you first sent me that message, I was gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna be on it unless you start it within the next 2 weeks. But I was like, nah, let me save him from that real quick and let me just.
I'm gonna be honest with you. My plan was once college ends, which ends, I actually skipped school today because there's no point in me going.
Yeah.
But my college ends December 12th, and so that time when it ends, I was gonna use the time I'd spend on college for me to create my podcast, like to set everything up, the RSVP, do the thumbnails, all that setup, all that junk.
Okay.
And that time I'm gonna order my own mic. But yeah, I'd love for you to be my first guest on it. I don't know how I'm gonna freaking record it though. Is the thing, like for the conversations.
Just do it. Just whatever. I mean, you'll figure it out. I'm sure. Like for me, I'm doing it on FaceTime. Like, come on, I'm just screen recording this and posting it onto YouTube.
Okay.
But
so that's what I was wondering how you're doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do for my first one, and then I'll transcribe it.
All right, man. I'll hold you to it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I'll let you know when it's ready.
Not a problem. I appreciate it.
See you, Tom.
Thank you so much. See ya.